Hi everyone, Mr. O here. We are going to be doing a really cool activity today. We're coming to you live from inside the museum. Some of you may recognize this spot. This is the Art Academy. We're going to be waiting a little bit for we get a lot of people on. We're waiting for everyone to tune in. Come on, give over in a few minutes because we're just now hit 3:45, so there'll be some people just now getting out of school. We want to make sure they get a chance to get on here too because hey, it's Friday! Isn't that awesome? We got the whole weekend in front of us. Hopefully there's not a ton of homework that has to get done this weekend. You got it all done during the week. Your teachers were super nice. Whatever the case may be. We're looking forward to our weekend too. I'm very excited about my weekend coming up. But like I said, we're coming to you live from inside the museum. This is our Art Academy. We are going to be wrapping up our Wakanda WonderWeek, sponsored by Phillips 66. So we're wrapping it up by doing comic strips. So we're going to get started here in a couple more minutes, waiting for a few more people to get on. Want to make sure that we get a nice number of people on here. Make sure that you have all your reactions ready because you're going to help me design today's strip. So the strip isn't going to be just made by me out of nowhere. Rather, y'all are going to help vote for how the strip goes. So again, this is our end of our Wakanda WonderWeek. We are inside our Art Academy. Very excited to be here. This is not one of my normal haunts, but I do love art and I do love literacy, and so I am super excited to be here with you today to share my own love of comic strips and comic books and graphic novels. But I also read real novels and novellas and short stories, so there's all kinds of different ways to kind of learn stories. This happens to be one of my really fun ones. And by the way, you don't need any artistic talent. I can't draw. I have trouble with stick figures. I'm just going to be real honest with you. If you've seen my videos, you've seen how well I can draw. I rely on a lot of other graphics in order to make things happen. So we're all on the same boat. For those of you who can draw, kudos to you. You're going to be able to take this to a whole new level beyond what I can do. But we're still going to talk about some of the basics today. So again, for those of you who are just joining us, welcome to CMH Live. We are inside our Art Academy. This is our last day of our Wakanda Forever, sponsored by Phillips 66. We're going to be doing a comic strip development, and we're giving people about another minute or so to get on, to come join us. We're very excited to have as many people here today. We understand a lot of you are just getting out of school, or you're wrapping up from school and having your snack and getting the wiggles out. Now it's like, okay, what are we going to do for the weekend? Well, this is a fun way to kick off your weekend. So we're really excited to have you here today. I also am joined by one of our PR team, Letty Luna. You can't see her. She's hiding behind the camera. She's very shy. And so she's going to be helping me out here a little bit today. So you might hear her voice from time to time. But don't worry, we are properly social distanced. It's not a big deal. We are very excited again to have everyone joining us today for our end of our Wakanda WonderWeek. This is our live shot. We are inside the Art Academy, which is hidden inside Metropolis. Some of you may recognize it, hopefully. We're very excited to have you here today. And today we're going to be doing comic strip designing. We are going to be getting started here in just a couple more moments, trying to get as many people on this weekend. We don't want anyone to miss the fun that we're going to have. And so it's important for you to kind of start from the beginning, hear all the background of what you need to know, and then we're going to build a comic strip together today. So I'm very excited about that. We're looking forward to this. So I'll tell you what, it is right now about 3:49, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So, here we go. Welcome to Children's Museum of Houston Live. We are inside Art Academy. This is the last day of our Wakanda WonderWeek, where we've been exploring comic books and graphic novels, and I'm a huge fan of comic books and graphic novels, but I'm also a huge fan of novels and short stories and novellas. So I like to get lots of different ways of seeing stories. And so comic strips are one really short way to tell a story, with both words and visuals, and sometimes it's just words or just visuals. There's lots of different ways you can do comic strips. So I'm going to show you one today using an app called Strip Designer on my iPad. We're going to show you that here in just a moment. There are many kind of choices out there for this. So this is not me saying definitely use this. This just happens to be an app I know how to use, I feel pretty comfortable using, so I don't think I'm going to have too many technical glitches that will embarrass me while I'm live on Facebook, because no one wants to be embarrassed live on Facebook. So in order to get started, what I want to do is I want to talk a little bit more. Oh, by the way, I should mention many thanks to Phillips66 for sponsoring this Wonder Week. We're really appreciative of you hanging in there with us as we go through our Wakanda WonderWeek. So, are we ready to get started? I think so. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of focus down now onto my iPad, and we're going to go ahead and get started here. And I'm going to talk about some of the elements you need to keep in mind as you are developing a comic strip. So, are we good to go? Got it? All right. So, first thing I want to talk about is layout. There's a lot of different layouts out there, and these are just a few of the ones that the app I'm using offers. So I'm going to be sticking today with a very basic 4-part comic. But you can do just a single frame comic. There are some that do multiple pages when you get into comic books. But again, we don't think people are going to want to stick around for hours and hours and hours while actually write a full comic book. Rather, we're going to keep it simple and just do one single strip of 4 frames. Now, the second thing you need to decide is characters. That's not necessarily in this order. Sometimes your characters will determine your story, which determines your layout. Other times your story, you will have a layout in mind or you have a character in mind. So there isn't one single way to approach this. I'm just going to say that much. Because what I'm doing, the reason I'm talking about characters right now is we're going to use one single character today, and that's my dog. So these are some cute pictures of her, and you'll see a lot more pictures of her today. And that's the really neat thing about this comic strip app that I'm using is you can use photographs to create the comic strips. You don't have to know how to draw because, as I mentioned earlier, and some of you may not have heard this, I can't draw. Stick figures are hard for me. I'm just going to be real honest with you. If you've watched any of my previous Mr. O videos, you know I can't draw. I rely upon a lot of graphics and a lot of posts in order to get my videos looking really cool and everything. So what I want is I'm going to use my dog here as my character in my comic strip. And in fact, that's pretty much the only character I'm going to use. But you can, in fact, have multiple characters. If you read most comic strips, they have multiple characters because every character has their own little personality, and it helps to get across that particular story. The third thing I'm going to talk about is going to be your plot or your story. And there are a lot of directions to take. You can do action comics, you can do comedy, you can do drama. There's a whole set of literary genres out there. If you just want to explain history, you can do that. If you want to be poetic or artistic, you can do that. If you want to do everything through song, you can actually write a song through a comic strip. There's a number of different approaches to take. So, I personally am going to use comedy today because I enjoy writing silly comic strips. And so we're going to be using comedy today, but again, I don't want to discourage you from trying to be writing drama, writing action. And again, if you need to use more pages or more frames per page, there's a lot of different ways. And once you get really advanced, you can actually start drawing your own frames. So, dialogue. Dialogue is one of 2 ways you kind of carry on the story. The other one is going to be in the next one that we're going to talk about. But dialogue is one of the main ways. You have people talking, or in the case of the dog, she's going to be thinking things, because dogs don't really talk. So my way of dealing with that, and you could just make the dog talk, it's a comic strip after all, but I like to use thought bubbles for my dog. And that's me being a little bit old school. If you think about characters like, Garfield and a few other animals, they tend to do thought bubbles when they think. They don't necessarily speak out loud unless they are going woof or meow or something like that. They make real noises when they use actual bubbles. The last thing is going to be action. So how can you drive a story? Well, through action. That can be through an image that the character has. It can be through an image that you pull out. Or it can just be other little stickers and other things that kind of get across an idea. Whether it's laughter or, crashing into things or sleeping, there's a number of different ways to get it across. So, dialogue, let's go back to dialogue for a moment here. Dialogue is an important part to add to any action because it helps explain what it is you're seeing. So for example, you have the exact same photo here, but with 2 very different stories going on. In this one, may I please have a bite of your hamburger? This sad puppy face is a begging face. I want some of your food. In this one, this exact same sad face means I'm guilty of something. Before you go into the kitchen, you should know that the trash can was saying mean things about your mother. So and you might hear it letting out from the background. So if you've ever had a dog who has emptied the trash can and shredded it everywhere, you will know exactly where I'm coming from in that particular one. So, but it's the exact same image. So dialogue and action work hand in hand to tell your story. So it's an important thing to do that. So I think it's time for us now to actually try to create a comic strip. So again, I'm going to be using an app to do this. But I need you to help me out. I don't want this to be boring. So you're going to vote with your reactions. We want your reactions to help us vote. So let's start the vote with the most important part. What is going to be our story? Are we going to do the story Feed the Dog? Are we going to do the story Thunder, Beware? Or are we going to do the story Keep on Scratching? So we're going to take a moment here, let you all vote. So again, we want thumbs up if you want to talk about feeding the dog. And you'll get a hint for what we're going to be doing here, depending on what you vote on. Hearts, it's the Thunder Beware. And I will tell you that my dog really and truly is scared of thunder, so there's some kind of funny photos for that one. And then Keep on Scratching. With this one, it's us scratching the dog. I shouldn't tell you. It's not the dog scratching. I don't want y'all to be worried that we're doing a strip about fleas or ticks. We're not doing anything like that. So it's going to be petting the dog, scratching the dog for the laughing, the ha-ha, the heart, the love for Thunder Beware, and thumbs up for Feed the Dog. So we're going to keep giving you a couple more moments to react to this. So we get some nice reactions.
We have a vote for Keep on Scratching and a vote for Thunder Beware.
Okay. Let's keep on going. Keep those reactions coming. We're going to need a lot of votes. Remember, you can vote more than once on Facebook. We can't tell. So, just to be honest with you, So if you want to do Feed the Dog, give me a thumbs up through remember, I can't see you giving me a thumbs up. You actually got to do a reaction, Facebook reaction. So use those bottom buttons for the Facebook reaction, Feed the Dog. Use a heart to vote for Thunder Beware, and use the ha-ha to vote for Keep on Scratching, which means like a pet and scratching, not a flea scratching. We're not going to do anything nasty like that. We don't want to talk about fleas in here.
Ooh,
so,
it looks like it's still between Thunder and Keep on Scratching.
All right, so let's see those coming in. Maybe we'll have a last minute push for Feed the Dog, but if not, that's not a big deal. I've got plans for all three of these. So we have Thunder Beware. Again, give us your hearts if you want the Thunder Beware. Give us the ha-has for the Keep on Scratching.
Looks like it's Thunder Beware is winning.
Thunder Beware is winning? All right. So give it about one more minute, last chances, get your final votes in. Again, you're voting through your reactions. It's going to be a thumbs up if you want Feed the Dog. Give me some hearts. You want Thunder Beware. And give me the ha-has. Keep on scratching, keep on scratching. That's me kind of playing a little bit off Dory, but it's not quite as Keep on Swimming. So
it's another Thunder Beware.
Another Thunder Beware. All right. So is that what we're going to go with?
I think that's the winner.
All right, so we're going to go with Thunder Beware. So I'm going to skip ahead here to our Thunder Beware. So Thunder Beware is our choice. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to be switching over to the comic book app right now. And so let me just get to Thunder Beware and open that up. So this is the app that I was talking about. So this is called Strip Designer. And so as you can see, I've put in a couple things here just to kind of get us started. This took me about 20 minutes to put in, which I think is a lot longer than, if we had actually finished it. If we had done it from scratch, it would have taken a whole lot longer. So I'm going to be asking you to help me out here in a moment. But I just want to show you a couple quick things about Strip Designer. So first off, the title. You actually have a title box. You can change just by double tapping on it and just typing it in. I put in a little sticker here. So you get the stickers down here at the bottom. There's this add button. So with adding, you can add in stickers, effects, texts. You can add in all the word balloons that you see. Add in more cells if you want. So again, let me just describe a few of these. So stickers are these little things like this. You can't edit them. You can't change them. They're just there. You slap them on, and they just add a little bit. So there's just a little boom here in the background. Obviously, that's my intention to be thunder. We then have balloons, like I said. So word balloons, there's a couple of different variations on them. So they have all kinds of different shapes. strips also have narration, so you can just put in a block up here if you're trying to like explain the scene. If I want to, you know, at the house one afternoon or something like that, but it's not necessary for this particular strip. And that's one of the most important things about comic strips is less is more in many cases. You don't want to fill up everything with text. The goal here is to show off the images. Then you have thought balloons. So thought balloons are the ones that look like clouds. That means I'm thinking about something, but people don't normally hear it. Now, in the cases of comic strips, you do have some comic strips where people understand animals' thoughts. And it's just like Garfield, I think, is a prime example of that. In other cases, it's because they need something to respond to, but cats don't really speak necessarily. You can also do speech bubbles, which is this plain one, and you can do shouting bubbles, which are those little jagged ones. And you can see they have lots of others. So if you want to have someone with like a very different kind of inflection, you have lots of different choices to pick from. But most of mine are thought bubbles. The other thing I'm going to point out is that the thought bubbles, they can be manipulated, so I can change where the thought is coming from. So if I want the thought to come off screen, that's very easy to do. And then I can change the content, and I can even tilt it and make it bigger or smaller if I want to. So there's lots of variations of these. Then over here, you can actually connect bubbles together. And if you notice, I have this bubble coming from off screen. That's meant to be a human talking to the dog. So this is a human talking. So let's kind of quickly review where we are right now. So there's a boom. The dog is looking away. I don't have any dialogue here, so that's going to be the first thing we're going to vote on. So let's go back here for just a moment. And so we're going to go to our first vote. So the first thing I need help with is, what is Roxy's first thought? Is it every dog for herself? Is it I'm out of here? Or is it duck and cover? So again, use those Facebook reactions. We want thumbs up, every dog for herself. We want the heart, I'm out of here. Or is the laughing face duck and cover? So that's what we're looking for. We're giving you a few moments here to send us your reactions, and we're going to pick which one of these texts is going to end up in that first frame. So that first frame where she hears the thunder, what is she going to say?
Got duck and cover.
Got duck and cover? Duck and cover. So many of you probably aren't old enough to know what in the world that is, but ask your grandparents, they'll know. I'm sorry, I'm dating myself here big time, but yeah, duck and cover is a funny little song.
We have two duck and covers.
Two duck and covers. All right, we also have I'm out of here, or every dog for herself. I think all three of these go through my dog's mind when she hears thunder. She's done. And sometimes she hears it before we do. All of a sudden the dog would simply go dive for cover. It's like, I guess there's thunder coming.
Do you have a thunder jacket?
We do have a thunder jacket for her. That's a great question. We do have a thunder jacket for her. She doesn't like it. We have put it on her, and admittedly, she isn't quite as worried, but she spends a lot of time trying to get it off.
Oh, no.
So it helps distract her in that way, but that's not any better necessarily. As she sulks around the house, why did you put this on me? It's bad enough I have thunder. Now I have to wear this thunder jacket too to go with it.
Oh,
So again, we're looking for
vote.
reactions.
We gotta vote for every dog for herself.
Every dog for herself. I'm out of here with the little hearts, and duck and cover with the ha-has. So which one is she gonna say?
It's like
Right now it seems like duck and
duck and
cover
cover
is
is
winning.
winning.
So
Duck and cover still winning.
duck and cover is still winning. We're gonna give it about 30 more seconds. So quick. Remember, you can vote more than once. I'm just gonna remind you that we have no way of controlling that. This is not the presidential election. You can vote as many times as you want. Keep on voting, keep on voting. So ha-has for duck and cover, hearts for I'm out of here, and thumbs up for every dog for herself. And the final result is, big drum roll,
Duck and cover.
duck and cover. All right, so we're gonna go back now to our strip. And so I'm just gonna double tap on here. And I'm gonna attempt to type upside down, which is always gonna be fun. So, this is gonna be a lot slower than I normally type. Because I keep going to the wrong place to look for these things. Okay, where's the B? There, the B. I have to think upside down, so I do apologize for how long this is taking me. So duck and cover, and we're going to throw in a couple of exclamation marks. Now, a couple things that you can do is I can highlight all this text and I can change the font. I can change the font if I wanted to something else. I can increase the size of it a little bit. So I'm going to increase this up here to 120% the normal size. And we get a little bold here. And we are going to then hit done. Now the important thing is to hit done. Don't just click off. Otherwise it doesn't save what you wrote. And the last thing you want to do is write a lot and then have it not saved. So we got this nice big duck and cover. I'm going to move it over a little bit so it fits inside. Now our thought bubble does not come out of her eye, it comes out of her head. So there we go, duck and cover. So in our next frame, I have the dog. This is an actual picture of her under our coffee table hiding from the thunder. Me, what are you doing under there? Hiding, thunder. I didn't hear any, dot, dot, dot. So now we have to have some thunder coming. Because you can't just let me get away with this. So, now we get to pick a picture. And I'm going to show you how to put in pictures. So, for this one, we got 3 styles of lightning to pick from. Do you want one single thing of lightning? Give me a thumbs up. If you want about 5 or 6 bolts of lightning, give me a heart. And if you want a whole lot of lightning, give me the ha-ha. So again, one single strike of lightning. I mean, there's a couple of offshoots of that bolt. Give me a thumbs up, give me a heart for all those, and give me a ha-ha for all these bolts. Now, while y'all are voting, I'm going to tell you a little bit about how they actually take these photos. Photographers will go up away from an area where they know there's going to be a lot of lightning, and they use something called long exposure. So when a camera takes a picture, it opens up what's inside called a shutter, and that allows light in. Now normally you want a quick flash. You don't want to have a whole lot of light, because otherwise what will happen is you will get so much light that you can't see your photo anymore. There's just too much light. So they use this long exposure, so they have to do it at night. And they just let it kind of go and go and go for several minutes. So they capture multiple bolts of lightning, and they get all the light coming off of it. So that's why the clouds are glowing, because there's lightning going on behind the clouds. You get multiple bolts in many cases because these may have gone at different times. So something like this, these were a lot of different lightning strikes all going on while they took one single photo. So that's how they get to look that way. It's not like there's like this rain of lightning coming down all at once, but rather it's showing all the different lightning bolts going on.
We have a few new people.
We have a few new people. Well, welcome, welcome. So let me tell you what we're doing right now is we are doing a comic strip about my dog and her reaction to thunder and lightning. Now she is a scaredy cat when it comes to thunder and lightning. No offense to cats. But she does and goes and hides. So the gag right now is she's hiding under the table. I'm saying I don't hear any thunder. And we need to pick a lightning bolt that'll go with our thunder that was going to go into the comic strip. So you're voting by your Facebook reaction. I'm going to remind you once again, you can vote multiple times. You just simply keep pressing your reactions. If you want one single big bolt with a little couple offshoots, give me a thumbs up. If you want multiple bolts, give me a big heart. If you want a whole slew of them, this huge number of them, give me a ha-ha.
Looks like the hearts are winning.
Hearts are winning. Excellent. I think that's a really cool picture myself. I like that one. Because it stays in the clouds. You don't see the city in the background or anything like that. So I like that. So
more hearts.
Some more hearts. More hearts. The hearts are winning.
Hearts are winning.
Right. So give it about a couple more seconds here. Final votes in. Feel free just to keep heart, 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 heart. Make sure you get yours in if you want. If you want to try to catch up, feel free to hit one of the others multiple times.
Oh, we got a like.
We got a like. We got a thumbs up. Keep on going. Keep on going. We're trying to pick which lightning is going to appear in our third panel on our comic strip. And so we're going to go back to the comic strip. For those of you just joined in just a moment, so you can see which one we're using. I'm using the app called Strip Designer because I can't draw. So we're using photographs to create our comic strip. So for those of you who, like me, may not be as able to draw, you can definitely use photographs to still create a funny comic strip. So that's what I want to encourage y'all to do. And for those of you who can draw, you can in fact draw using this app too. Instead of putting in a photo, you put in drawing and you can sketch in whatever it is you want to put in. So there's a whole variety of things. All right, so I think we're going to call it Hearts Win.
Hearts win.
Hearts Win. Excellent. So I am going to go back to our strip and I'm going to turn it back around. So to add a photo, you click on Add Photo. And again, like I said, there are a couple of choices here. You have your photo album, which of course is one I'm going to tap. You have camera and you have drawing. So if you want to draw something, you just tap drawing and you can sketch it in there using your finger, or in the case of an iPad Pro, you can use the little pencil. Camera, if you just want to take a photo, if you want someone to make a funny face and you want to take a photo and put it right there, you can do that. If you want a specific photo, you can always Google the photo, save it, and then use it. Just be careful that you're using things that are not copyrighted if you're going to plan to post it anywhere. If you're just using it internally, it's not as big a deal, but definitely if you're planning to post it online or something like that, make sure you have permission to use it. So I'm going to press Photo Album. Now a lot of photos in here because I take a lot of photos. So we are going to Thunderdog album, right there. And so we chose this one, B, for lightning. So this is really cool. It pops right in, fits in automatically. If I want to, I can adjust it. That's perfectly acceptable. And I can even make it crooked if I want to and refill it in that way. A couple of different routes that you can go. So I'm going to go back and straighten it out here, make it fit again properly. Whoop. There we go. And then I'm going to add in, I think we're going to need to add in a letter here, and I think we're going to put in a big old boom to go with it. So again, this is a great use for stickers, and I can always, and again, you can make this a little sideways, and it adds a little bit of funniness to it. So it's not just the lightning there, but it has that big thunder boom that we want. So then we go to our final frame. If you notice, I used the exact same photo in these, I just enlarged one. So you can totally do that. You can reuse the exact same image, because remember back when I showed dialogue, the dialogue helps to explain what it is you're seeing. So if I want to give it a little more context, I definitely want her under here. I'm saying, move over, I'm joining you. But now we need a final response from Roxy. What is her response to the fact I want to get under there with her? So that, and this is a multiple joke thing, because the idea of me crawling under there with the dog, a little silly. And now we're going to add in yet another piece. And that's perfectly fine. You don't need just one joke in a comic strip. So the last question we have here, what is Roxy's final response? Is it, find your own hiding spot? Is it, no way, your breath smells? Or is it, fair warning, I ate a lot of beans at lunch? So, I'll let you read into that what you need to. So again, with the thumbs up, and again, you're voting with your Facebook reactions. So for those of you joining us, use your Facebook reactions to vote. We want you to give us a thumbs up if you think find your own hiding spot is a perfect response for Roxy to me wanting to crawl under there when I heard a big boom. Give me a heart if you want to think that no way your breath smells is the right sentiment that she should be giving. Given that dog breath is, that's my gag there, that, you know, my dog's breath actually makes me gag. And then the third one is fair warning, I ate a lot of beans at lunch, which honestly Roxy doesn't need to eat to encourage certain imminent emissions from her. So again,
We have 2 likes.
2 likes. So find your own hiding spot. No way your breath smells. She doesn't want me under there because my breath smells. Or she's giving me fair warning. If I crawl under there, she had a lot of beans at lunch. So you're going to vote for your reactions. And again, while we're talking here, I will say is that I kind of pre-prepared all 3 of these. And so maybe we'll end up having another one of these at some point. But the key here is just to get on to, and again, like I said, I use Strict Designer. That's the name of the app I'm using. You do not have to use that. There are a lot of options out there in terms of apps that you can use. And some of them you can pay for additional features more than what Strict Designer has. You can, get in-app purchases for more stickers and more reactions and more balloons. And then Android has their own set, so I don't want you to feel like you have to do it. You also don't need an iPad. You can do it on most smartphones. You can totally do it. In fact, I made a lot of mine on my smartphone before an iPad even came out. So phones work just as well as an iPad. The only difference is just size. So it's kind of up to you. So again, we're voting right now. If you're just now joining us, we are wrapping up our comic strip. We're in the final joke. To kind of quickly summarize, there is a thunderstorm. The dog is hiding underneath the table. A big thunderclap happens, which scares me. I tell her to move over. I'm joining her, and she is telling me a response. Is it, give me a thumbs up, you're voting, using your Facebook reactions, find your own hiding spot? Is it, no way, your breath smells? Or is it, fair warning, I ate a lot of beans at lunch?
The likes are winning.
The likes are winning. Find your own hiding spot is winning. And I think that is her sentiment in many cases. Because we'll try to get under, we'll try to like pet her from underneath and she just stays way back under there. So I'm not coming out. So she definitely believes that. All right, so I think that's what we're gonna do is we're gonna go find your own hiding spot. That definitely seems to have won. So I'm gonna switch back now. And I'm gonna get to turn, there it goes. And so double tap to get this up here, and then it's going to be, and I'm going to once again have to type this upside down. This is not at my usual typing speed. Yeah, this is really not my usual typing speed. This is excruciating for me, and I'm also talking while I'm doing it, so it slows me down even more. Oh, I missed the O. So now I gotta, okay, where's my delete button now? O, and finally S. I'm getting okay, P-O-T. And then we'll add a little exclamation mark and hit done. And so again, we can kind of, whoop, you can tap on this, you can use the blue to move it around, use 2 feet. Okay, stop that. There we go. I can change the size of this, so if I want to make this bigger, I can also make it small. Stop. I'm having a very hard time doing this upside down, as you can tell. And then of course I can tilt it, and that's the funny part too. You can also do that if you need to add that in there. So I'm just going to move it down here a little bit lower so you get a full picture of her being underneath. It's not her shoulder that is thinking, so it's her head, so I'm going to move that up to her head. And there we go, and that is our comic strip. So that is how to make a comic strip using Strip Designer. So again, we have our layout. In this case, we had 4 panels. We have our story, which was Thunder Beware. We had our character, which is my dog, Roxy. We had both action and dialogue. So we had action in terms of our boom, our lightning, the little faces that she's making, where she is, as well as dialogue through the thought bubbles and speech bubbles that help explain what is going on. And then we also had a little more action with the stickers, both the boom and the boom. So that is how to do a comic strip in a nutshell. That's a very short nutshell. There's obviously a lot more to it. And again, if you want to start creating comic strips, or write, or whatever, I always recommend read. Read what's of interest to you. If you want to make a graphic novel, go read a bunch of graphic novels. See what people who do this for a living do. That will help to figure out how you could potentially write your own comic strip, write your own graphic novel, write your own short story. You're welcome. You can always go read short stories. And I'll tell you what, comic strips and things like that, those actually play a big role in other things like movies and TV shows. It's called storyboarding, where they take panels and they plan out what the different sequences are going to be. And it looks a lot like a comic strip, just a whole lot of them all put together to help explain what the sequence of shoots is going to be. So we hope you had a great time. Again, we're coming to you live from inside Metropolis. This is the Art Academy. This was the wrap up for our Wakanda WonderWeek. We hope everyone had a wonderful week with us. Many thanks again to our sponsor, Phillips 66. Again, have a wonderful weekend. So glad you could join us here today. Take care. Bye-bye.